Renewable energy represents a growing proportion of the energy portfolio in the United States and globally. The energy mix that we employ is changing, and projections are that the increases in renewable energy will continue to grow over the next several decades. In the U.S. in 2017, nearly half of utility-scale capacity installed came from renewables, and follows a trend where renewables represent on average 50% and at least 40% of new additional capacity. Of the renewable energy portfolio, solar and wind energy have attracted the most interest and have developed technologically at an increasingly accelerated pace. Lazard's latest annual levelized cost of energy analysis demonstrates the cost-competitive nature of utility-scale solar and wind. Today, utility-scale solar and wind power are cost-competitive with the best of the fossil energy-based energy generation. In fact, the improvements in solar have surpassed the Department of Energy's expectations of prices for solar based on the Sunshot program 3 years ahead of schedule. The goal for 2030 is to lower the price of utility-scale solar power by an additional 50%. This is in part a story over the last decade, during which utility-scale solar and wind, where the costs of energy generation from renewables has steadily and dramatically dropped. Much of the lowering of renewable energy prices and increased installed capacity is a result of subsidies offered to the industry. Federal, state, and local governments and electric utilities encourage investing in and using renewable energy, and in some cases require it. Many programs and incentives are currently available. The database of state incentives for renewable energy and efficiency is a comprehensive source of information on the types and status of government and utility requirements and incentives for renewable energy. Perhaps the most notable of these is the production tax credit offered to renewable energy producers, including wind energy producers, and expected to be phased out by 2020. Originally enacted as part of the Energy Policy Act of 1992, Congress has extended the provisions 7 times. Currently, the law enacted at the end of 2016 gives companies that generate electricity from wind, geothermal, and closed-loop bioenergy using dedicated energy crops a federal PTC, which provides a 2.3 cent per kilowatt-hour incentive for the first 10 years of a renewable energy facility's operation. Other technologies, such as open-loop biomass, using farm and forest wastes rather than dedicated energy crops, efficiency upgrades and capacity additions at existing hydroelectric facilities, small irrigation systems, landfill gas, and municipal solid waste receive a lesser value tax credit of 1.1 cent per kilowatt hour. The credit is expected to cost taxpayers more than $23 billion over just 5 years, from 2016 to 2020, according to the Congressional Research Service. Given the price competitiveness of the renewable energy sources and the increased pressure on traditional baseload energy sources such as fossil energy and nuclear energy because of environmental and safety issues, there's been an increasingly louder call from various entities for a rollback of government subsidies and incentives for renewable energy. Does the eventual rollback of subsidies mean the reversal of the surge of renewable energy? Perhaps not. Biodiesel represents an example where, despite the expiration of federal biodiesel blenders tax credit at the end of 2016, production has continued to grow through 2017. Biodiesel is often combined with petroleum diesel from 5 to 20% biodiesel and accounts for about 4% of total diesel consumption in 2016. We invite you to join us for an engaging discussion on the case for continuing subsidies for renewable energy and the calls for leveling the playing field by reversing the subsidies for renewable energy on February 8, 2018.